Namaskar. Hi. Hello, my guys. Hello, my students. Since 1 year, all my students from 5th to 10th were very eager to listen my lectures regarding English, and so that I decided to start a new YouTube channel which is belonging to me. It's my own channel, and from today onwards I'm going to start this new YouTube channel, and the name of the channel is PGD English Tech Guru. PGD English Tech Guru. This channel is about only English. The communication will be also in English as well as in Marathi, because so many students, so many friends, they are very unfamiliar to the vocabulary, and so that I would like to communicate with them in English as well as in Marathi, which is our mother tongue. Before going to learn the English aspects, at first I would like to tell you about the four language skills which are very essential for us to communicate with each other. It may be any language, it may be English, it may be Marathi, it may be Kannada, or it may be any regional language. These four skills are very important for our communication. These four skills play a vital role or integral part of our communication, and so that at first, before doing the deep study of English, it would be better to know about the four skills of language English or of communication, which are very useful for us to do the better communication, to do the best communication for each other. Before going to start a lecture related to English, at first we would know, I would like to tell you about the importance of English in day-to-day life. I think two or three sentences are very useful to tell you the importance of English in day-to-day life. It is said that English is the global language. English is the international language. English is the window of the world. Why all these three sentences are spread everywhere? Why these all three sentences are said everywhere in the world? Why we say that English is the global language? Why we say English is the international language? English is the window of the world. If we know the importance of English, English plays very vital role in our day-to-day life. It may be medical field, It may be information and technology, that is engineering field. It may be any other field. In each and every field, English is most important language. And so we must learn this language rather than other languages. No doubt, Marathi is our mother tongue. No doubt, Hindi is our national language. But though English is the third language, English is the foreign language, English is the international language, it's a global language, we must know it, we must learn it, we must speak it, we must listen it, we must write it. And so that this English language is very, very important for my all the students who are learning in their schools, as well as it is very useful for my friends who are working in their private sectors. It may be government sectors or it may be any sector. For better communication, this English language is most important for us. And so that before going to know the importance of English, I would like to tell you the 4 skills of learning English, or it may be any other regional language. The first one, that is very important skill of language English, is listening. Listening is most important, and that should be with proper understanding. It should be with proper comprehension. And when you will listen any news, it may be any conversation, it may be any story, it may be any song, poem, prose, poetry. At that time, we must listen first. We must listen all the sentences. We must listen all the words. We must listen all the letters. And so at first, we must know all the English letters. That's A to Z. These are the 26 letters, and in these 26 letters, 21 are consonants and 5 are vowels. Excluding A, E, I, O and U, all the remaining 21 are consonants. So each beginners or each beginner of English must know these 26 letters. Out of these 26 letters, what are the 21 consonants? What are the 5 vowels? What are the uses of consonants? What are the uses of vowels? When these vowels are used, when these consonants are used, how to spell them, how to pronounce them. That is, detailed information must be known by the beginners. And so that listening is the first important language skill of English. So, what to do to develop our listening skill? When we listen with our ears, ear is one of the most important sensory organ. It gives us the hearing sense, and so that listening is most important. When we listen any story, any news, any data, at that time we must know it, we must understand it, and so that to develop the listening skill, we have to listen so many songs, so many poems, so many proses, so many news items, so many newspapers, that is news from newspapers, then news from TVs, as well as we must listen conversations, lectures of fluent English speakers, we must listen dramas, we must listen so many aspects regarding to English, and then only we can develop our listening skill. I would like to tell to my students, when the teacher is going to deliver a lecture in the class, at that time you should be attentive. You must pay the proper attention towards the lecture of your English teacher. What the teacher is saying, how the teacher is pronouncing the particular word, how the sentences are going to thrown, being spoken by the teacher, how he spelled that proper letter, proper word, or proper sentence. That is, proper attention you must pay towards the teacher's lecture at the time of teaching in your class, and so that you must be attentive. When you will be attentive, at that time only you will pay a proper attention towards your teaching, and at that time the learning will take place properly. And so that you must listen them, you must listen the prayers, you must listen the songs, you must listen the poems, you must listen patriotic songs at the time of the prayer, you must listen them on radios, on TVs, or any other mass media. Suppose if you don't know how to read, how to speak, these are the next steps, these are the next skills of the first language skill, that is listening. When you will listen, automatically you will speak. When you will speak, automatically you will read. And when you will read, automatically you will able to write everything. And so that this is the basic skill, that is listening is the basic skill of language English. And so that it may be students, or it may be any colleague, it may be any serviceman serving in the offices. You must listen, you must get an ample opportunity, lot of opportunities you must get to listen. And when you will listen the debates, seminars, the lectures of your seniors, the lectures of your friends, different types of trainings which are given in English, these all trainings, debates, seminars, discussions are most important for you. The people who are serving in the offices. And when you will listen them, you must respect them also. Only listening and not giving respect to them, it's not good, it's not fair. And so that when you will listen them, you must show the respect to them. That is by nodding, yes, very good, very good. I have understood what you are speaking, what you are telling. I'm going to know it very well. I know it. I can understand you. Such types of reactions, such types of responses should be given by you to the speaker. And so that at that time it indicates that you are listening them properly. And it is the integral part of communication. Listening is the integral and first important part of our language. It may be any other language. And so that we must give ample opportunities, a lot of opportunities to listen them. And so that listening is most important first skill of our language English. That is, when the meetings are conducted in offices, at that time it is my humble request to all my friends to take an active participation of listening while conducting such types of meetings by our seniors. That is meetings, then discussions. When the discussions are going on, when the discussions are done among 5 or more than 5 persons, 5 staff members, 5 officers, at that time you should listen them properly. You must respect them properly. You must understand them. When you will listen, then you should know, you must know what he is telling. Whether you have understood it properly or not. That the self-assessment also, it should be done by the listener. When it happens, when you listen them properly, at that time you can understand, that is whether I have listened it properly or not. That is self-evaluation or self-assessment should be done by the listener. So that it may be meetings, it may be discussions, it may be feedback. Feedback is also most important part of the listening. When you listen to your friend, to your any officer, to your any staff member, to your teacher, to your madam, to your parents, at that time feedback is most important. Suppose the class is going on, the teacher is teaching or the madam is teaching, he is delivering a lecture in the class. Suppose while delivering a lecture, the teacher asked any question to the student, and suppose the student is unable to reply them, student is unable to answer the question, then the teacher or the madam will say that you are not listening properly, you are the passive listener, you are neutral listener. And so that when the teacher is delivering a lecture in the class, at that time the student should pay proper attention towards the teacher's teaching. It is not only in the class, it may be in the offices, it may be any company, it may be any government or private sector office. When all the members, staff members, officers, directors are discussing among themselves, at that time we must take an active participation to listen them. And when we listen more and more, definitely we will learn the English language. It will create an interest among us about the English. And when we will listen the English properly, automatically there will be interest among all the students, all my colleagues, all my friends who are serving in different types of private or government sectors. Then we must listen the sessions, we must attend interviews, debates, seminars, discussions, we must listen poems, we must listen songs, we must listen commands, we must listen orders. And when we implement all these things or all these aspects, at that time we definitely we can develop our listening skill. And so that such types of activities, English activities, should be conducted in our schools, in our offices, or in your home. Also you can conduct such types of activities at your home. Suppose there are two fluent speakers of English in your home. It doesn't require fluent speaker of English. It is said that English may be broken, but it must be spoken. इंग्लिश जरी मोडकी तोडकी जरी असली तरी आपण ती बोललीच पाहिजे. इट मे बी एनी रिजनल लँग्वेज. अँड वेन यू विल स्पीक this broken language frequently, that is often and often, that is every day, automatically you will get an ample practice of English. And it is said that practice makes man perfect. And when you will do the ample practice of speaking English, definitely you will be perfect in English. definitely you will be fluent in English. One day you will also become a fluent speaker of English. And so that practice is most important. So suppose if there are two speakers of English in your home, and suppose they are discussing between each other, the subject is non-veg and veg. Why veg is important for our health and hygiene, and why non-veg is most important for our health and hygiene. शाकाहारी आपल्यासाठी चांगलं का आणि मांसाहारी आपल्यासाठी चांगलं का? Suppose these both speakers are communicating about the veg, how veg is important and how non-veg is important. When they express their own ideas, own thoughts, own opinions, at that time the other members, family members, they should not be passive or neutral. They should pay proper attention what those two speakers are saying. Why the first speaker is saying that non-veg is important, why another is speaking is that why he is speaking that veg is important for us. At that time we must pay proper attention towards both of them, and then only you will understand why veg is important and why non-veg is important. That is, understanding should be there. When we listen any aspect, when we listen any discussion, when we take part in any debate, seminar, any conversation, any teaching aspect, learning aspect, any news on TV, any interview, any session, any feedback, at that time we must listen all these aspects properly with proper understanding, and so that this is most important aspect, that is, it is the integral part of our communication. It is one of the most important skill of language English. And another is speaking. Next to listening is speaking. Total there are 4 skills of language English, that is LSRW. L for listening, S for speaking, R for reading, and W for writing. Then just we studied about the listening skill. Now we are going to study, now we are going to know about the speaking skill. Speaking skill is also most important part, most important skill of our language English. Then when we speak, to speak properly, at first we must listen properly. When we listen properly, then we can speak properly. Then only we can pronounce the word properly. Suppose the teacher is telling a particular sentence, that is, I am writing on the blackboard. Please pay proper attention. Suppose the teacher is saying this sentence, or the teacher is telling this sentence to the students, or it may be the mother is or the father is telling to their sons or to their daughters about any command, at that time the students or the boys and the girls, they must listen them what the teacher is telling, how the particular word is going to pronounce by the teacher, how the particular word is going to pronounce by the parents, how the particular word is going to pronounce by the officers, by the staff member, by the colleague. That is the proper attention should be given by the beginners of English, by the learner of English. And so that to develop the speaking skill, we must speak as possible as we can, as possible as we can, as possible as you can. For that, you must know different types of words, their meanings, antonyms, synonyms, that is similar words, opposite words, idioms, phrases, familiar words, unfamiliar words, meanings of the unfamiliar words, pronunciations of the familiar words, how to spell them. That is, each and every knowledge about the speaking skill must know to you. And so that, take for example, when the kid, that is when the small child, he is one of the imitator of the elder. Suppose the small child is going to imitate to his father. Suppose the father spelled a particular word, he pronounced the particular word, then that child or that small kid, he also tries to imitate them. He also tries to talk, to speak that particular word, to utter that particular word, and so that he tries to open his mouth. And when he spells that word, when he says that word, when he utters that word, he gets a satisfaction. It is same to us. When we pronounce the particular word, when we pronounce the particular sentence, when we utter the particular sentence or word, we can also get a lot of satisfaction. And so that speaking is second most important skill of language, English. And so that whenever we speak, we express our ideas, we express our thoughts, we express our opinions. It may be any debate, it may be any session, it may be interviews, it may be seminars, it may be discussion, it may be questioning and answering in the class, it may be questioning and answering in the offices, it may be the formal or informal discussion in the offices, in the schools, between the benchmates, between the classmates, between the family members. At that time, we can develop our speaking skill. And to develop the speaking skill properly, as a teacher, we must give ample opportunities to our students to answer them, to express them, to express their own ideas, thoughts, feelings, emotions, gestures, everything. Suppose if we depressed them by saying abuse words, by beating them, by slapping them, then they will not utter a single word in English from that moment. And so that with a love, with an affection, by patting them, we must give them ample opportunities to speak, to express their own ideas, own thoughts, own feelings, as well as own emotions. And so that when you will give all these opportunities to the students, to your family members, to your sons, to your daughters, or to your any officers, to your staff members, to your friends, at that time definitely you will develop the speaking skill. And to develop the speaking skill, every day you must communicate with each other. It may be any student, it may be any staff member, it may be any officer, it may be any individual, it may be any person from any sector. You must communicate with each other. And when you will communicate with each other, definitely you will get a self confidence among you. And from that moment, definitely you will be able to speak properly. And when we are going to speak, at that time there are so many important aspects should be taken into consideration by the speaker, by the lecturer, by the teacher, by the announcer. What are those most important aspects should be taken into consideration to the teacher or to the lecturer? The first important is proper pronunciation. Proper pronunciation should be done by the teacher, should be done by the family members, should be done by the officers, any officer it may be. If you committed mistake while pronouncing the proper word, your student, your friends, your colleagues, your family members, your staff members, your officers, they also try to imitate you. It means that if you spoke it, if you pronounced it in a wrong manner, then definitely your followers, your students, your family members, they also try to spell in a wrong manner. And so that pronunciation should be done properly by the speaker. Suppose, for example, the spelling of psychology. You know psychology. We have studied psychology. Psychology. Suppose instead of pronouncing it psychology, if I pronounced it physiology, then what will happen? The persons who know the proper pronunciation of that particular word, definitely they will laugh when I will pronounce it as physiology. And suppose the staff members or the students or the family members who don't know the particular pronunciation or the proper pronunciation of that particular word, they will imitate you. They will say that instead of saying psychology, they will pronounce it physiology. So many words are there, so that pronunciation should be proper. The next one is confidence. self confidence should be there. When you are speaking, when you are going to express your ideas, when you are going to deliver a lecture, when you are going to show the emotions, proper ideas, thoughts, that is expression. At that time, there should be self confidence among you. Yes, I can deliver a best lecture, better lecture, good lecture. Such type of self confidence should be there. And when you have a self confidence, definitely you will speak properly, not fluently. When you will speak fluently, when you will do ample practice of speaking English, when you will take part in sessions, questioning, answering, interviews, seminars, debates, at that time, definitely you will be the speaker English, fluent speaker of English. And so that you must speak as much as you can, as more as you can. And as a teacher, I would like to tell my students that you also try to speak at home. Try to translate Marathi sentences, Marathi words into better English. Try to translate English sentences into better Marathi. Then definitely you will speak English. Definitely you will learn English. Definitely there will be interest among you. And so that speaking is most important. Students, my colleagues, my friends, I think today we have studied about the importance of English as well as two most important skills of language English. That is, the first one is speaking, how to develop speaking, what is the importance of speaking, what is the importance of listening, how can we develop listening skill, what should be done to develop listening skill. Everything we have studied regarding these two language skills. I think it's enough for you. Next two language skills will be studied or will be taught by me tomorrow. So whatever you have studied about the importance of English and two skills of English, that is enough for me. And tomorrow we are going to study about the reading skill and writing skill. And every day we are going to learn about 5th to 10th standard English textbook, all the included grammar in the textbooks of 5th standard up to the 10th standard, as well as 11th standard, 12th standard. And after that, after 1 year or 1.5 year, I am also going to deliver a lecture on for senior students who has taken a major subject English for their graduation or for their PG. That is drama, different types of dramas, different types of novels, everyday's grammar, different grammar aspects, that is the parts of speech, different types of voice, direct, indirect, question tag, reporting, how to report, how to write report, how to write letters, how to do communication, everything. Duration of the 1 year, I am going to discuss, I am going to deliver a lecture on each and every aspect of English. It's my humble request to you to listen me properly. After completing the lecture, after delivering the lecture, each and every time you can ask me your doubts. Definitely, I will try my level best to clarify your doubts, your problems with these two skills. It's enough for me. Thank you.